Hello, young friends. A very warm good morning to all of you. I'm sure you must be enjoying the most romantic season of the winter. Some of you must have started preparing for your ensuing preliminary examinations, and which will be followed by the annual examinations. I'm here to talk about a very important topic which has been prescribed in some of the university in the CC topic. The topic is, as you know, group discussion. I'm here to discuss various aspects of this topic. As you know, I am Jagdish Anerao, an associate professor, and I would like to talk with you about the topic of group discussion. I would be happy if I come across some of the queries from you at the end of this live talk. As you know, nowadays the professionalism has entered every field, including education. And as you know, group discussion provides an ample opportunity to work together. So group discussions have become very important part of almost all factors, including education and corporate sector. So let us first talk about what is exactly group discussion. As you know, and you can see on the slide what is group discussion, and I have given a small definition. Uh, Group discussion, or we call it GD also, it is a kind of interactive oral communication that takes place when a group of people comes together to discuss something. Now there are a couple of things which we must bear in mind. First, it is a kind of interactive communication. Means it is not a classroom teaching kind of thing. So interactive means each of the participants have to speak something. Secondly, it is oral communication. So one has to speak. But interesting part of group discussion is that it is not only oral, but it also involves non-verbal communication also. As you know that there are various types of oral communication, including body language and movements of eyes, and so this also is a very important part of group discussion. So basically, though it is a kind of oral communication, it also involves by and large non-verbal communication also. Now, this takes place when a group of people comes together to discuss something. So group is very important. It is not one or two persons who come and who may talk on any topic. No, then it may not be a kind of group discussion. So basic thing is it should be a group. And what is the definition of group is very tentative. So it should not be too small or it should not be too large. So it is not a kind of crowd as well. So generally most ideal situation is a group of say 20 students, 20 participants, and which is very important and which makes a kind of good group and which allows each of them to participate. Next, this generally speaking, group discussions can be either formal or informal. Now what is that? We are actually more concerned with the formal group discussion, but it is better to know something about the informal group discussion also. So as you can see in the slide, the informal group discussion is altogether an unplanned event. It means the formal group discussion is a well planned event. Now as you can see in the slide, the informal group discussion may start at any place, any time, or any topic or topics. This is not exactly what you find in the formal kind of group discussion. So you may go to the slide again and check the details of the informal group discussion to make it sure that what is formal group discussion. So here you can see that it may start at any place. It means if you are in the canteen, for example, of your college, then it may start all of a sudden, unplanned event. Anytime, be it at 10 o'clock at night, yes, you can start in the morning, yes, in the bus, yes, when you are traveling. So these are the places where you can have informal kind of group discussion. Then very important point is it may erupt all of a sudden. For example, you have come together in canteen and you may start talking about whether the senior batsman of Indian cricket should be driven out of the team. Then you may start commenting. Each of them may start and each may say something in favor or in against also. So my point is, please remember, the informal group discussion may erupt all of a sudden at any gatherings, and it becomes free or open for all kind of event. So it is not restricted to a specific group. If you go to this type of informal group discussion characteristic, we will automatically come across what exactly is the formal group discussion. So formal group discussion may not erupt at all of a sudden, number one. Number two, it is not an event of any gatherings. It means it is a well planned kind of event. The aims and goals have been already specified, and it is not free for all kind of event. So there is a specific group, there is a prefixed kind of subject, there is a kind of unity of ideas, there is a kind of uniformity among the participants, and it is not any time event. It has got stipulative time, and within the stipulated time limit, it has to start and it has to conclude. I go to the next slide again. See, very important thing. So this will help you how we can talk about the formal group discussion. It is an unorganized in nature, in absence of any predefined topic. So you can start on any topic. This is not exactly what you find in the formal group discussion, where you have got specific topic. It is predefined topic, and each of the participant knows that I will have to speak something on this particular topic only. Then again, it may move from any topic to any other topic, and there is no time limit, there is no restriction of topic. So one may start from, for example, now cricket, and next participant may talk about films, again one may talk about share market. Yes, so it may move at any juncture of discussion from one topic to another topic, and it may conclude all of a sudden. They decide, okay, let us stop and let us move, then it stops. And again, it may be kind of prolonged kind of exercise, prolonged group discussion, but again without any logical conclusion, and still it may remain inconclusive also. So these are the some of the features of informal group discussion, which we have to do nothing about that. So better go to the formal group discussion. Now let me go to the formal group discussion, and you can see what is the definition of the formal group discussion. So formal group discussions are increasingly used as a tool to identify deserving candidates for admission to various courses or for selection of job positions. Friends, now both these criteria, that is admission to various courses and number two, selection for job positions. Now we have to come across these two situations. Some of you might be opting for business schools, where this kind of procedure, group discussion, is a part of admission process. So you have to face group discussion when you apply for the business schools, for example, or you may go for the job, and then also you are required to participate in the group discussion. So two major factors: if you want to seek admission to some of the professional schools, and number two, if you have applied and if there is a job position somewhere, so you may be asked to participate in the group discussion. So what happens is, there is a kind of evaluator who observes each of the participants and who selects the deserving candidates. So basic motive behind that is to identify deserving candidates. Now I may turn to the next topic. Why are these group discussions held? You can see in the slide as I have already told you, there will be two major factors where you have to come across group discussion. So in organizations which offer you jobs, and number two, academic institutions, they look for candidates with skills and abilities. As I told you, in the corporate culture, you have to work as a team. You are not all alone. You have to work with a number of people with number of kind of various skills. It is not expected that each of the skills are with you. Even if it is there, you are supposed to work with others. So you have to interact, you have to share your views, you have to accept the views of others also. You have to tolerate them, even if you find that they are most unwanted people. Then again, what happens is you have to come across so many people. Maybe it a kind of your college, maybe an academic institution, maybe it is an organization where you are enjoying a higher position. So what happens is a candidate is tested when he is participating in a group discussion. So when you are applying for the position in a company, they may expect you to participate just to test you whether your aptitude is for working in a group, whether you have the abilities to share your views, to concentrate on work, to lead the team in general, or you are cooperative in nature, you accept the views of others, at least you listen to them. All these skills have been automatically tested when you are a part of group discussion. So it is very helpful activity, and unknowingly also we come across this type of activity, that is group discussion, in most informal way. When you are in college, for example, when you are traveling, when you have come across so many people in a gathering, what happens is automatically a form is organized, form is a group is formed, and you start talking about something, and topics move from one to other. That is a kind of group discussion. But when you make it a kind of give a kind of professional touch, when you concentrate on specific topic, when you channelize your ideas and views, when you try to assert instead of making a kind of aggressive comments, when you maintain balance, when you put your views in the most coordinated manner, it is a kind of basic activity in a formal group discussion. I may turn to the next slide. Why are the group discussions held? As I told you, organizations and academic institutions need able people, candidates with abilities. Now, what are these? So, first, good communication and leadership skills. If you are there in the group and you remain silent, then you cannot work in a group. So, first thing, good communication and leadership skills. Next is cooperative cooperation. You have to work with cooperation when you are in a academic institution or anywhere else. You are in a company, you are having a job, so cooperation is a kind of inevitable virtue. Then patience. Even if you are not happy with your colleagues, with your friends, you must bear patience. You must be very patient even if you don't like or you do disagree. Consideration for others. Give a kind of appreciation to the views of others. So these are the basic virtues in the today's corporate world. So if you have this, you will be successful in any organization. So to test this type of abilities and skills in an individual, group discussions are held. So while working in group, these skills are very necessary, without which one cannot go ahead and achieve success. And when individual fails, the group may also fail, because if each of them fail in one of the virtues, maybe one is having no good communication skill, the other may not be having the strength or ability to work together. He may like to go work all alone, ignoring all others. Then they cannot work as a group, and what happens is in the end, the endeavor they are trying to do or the goals they are trying to achieve, it fails. So to test this type of abilities, or in a way it gives you an opportunity to develop these skills, communication skills or leadership skills or consideration or patience. when you actually participate the formal kind of group discussion. So friends, take care that when you are a part of group discussion, formal or informal, try to concentrate, number one. Number two, put your views in the most logical manner. Give also equal chance to others. It is not that you have to, because you want to develop as a leader, then you occupy the central position and make others or force others to keep mum. No, then this cannot happen. This is not a group discussion. So this is dictatorship. What is expected is you may work together, you may encourage others, you may appreciate others, you may encourage others to put their views, you may try to correct them if you find they are wrong, or when there is a chaos in the group discussion, you may try to divert the chaos and establish peace. These are the leadership virtues. So to test this type of virtues, to test this type of abilities, organizations and academic institutions organize group discussions, and some specific topic is given. I may go to the next slide, which is also very important part of this topic. See how the selectors or evaluators identify deserving candidates. So couple of points I think which we must take into consideration. The selectors try to identify deserving candidates mainly on the basis of the followings. Number one, ability to lead and work in the group, which is very important part. One cannot work in isolation nowadays. And again, positive attitude. Always criticizing others is very easy. You may go on criticizing any damn man. You may, for example, criticize Sachin Tendulkar because he could not score the ton in the some of the matches. So it is easy to criticize, but actually what happens we are not familiar with. So we must develop a positive attitude to solve the problems. Next, the ability to effectively communicate. If you are not very much clear, if